What is up, everybody, and welcome to the FPL WildCats Live. Thank you for joining us this Wednesday while there is Champs League on. If you're like me, I've got it on the side. You can multitask, you can watch both. I am joined, of course, by Nimfria, who is back after her hiatus last week. So before I pass over to Nim, do all the things that you do on YouTube to support us. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and take it away, Nim.
Yeah, thanks, Jay, and welcome everyone to the stream. I hope you're all well. It's good to be back. I missed you guys last week a lot. Kurt said he's having a bad game week, so he's going on a short trip to Pluto. Although I have seen him in the chat, so maybe he has good Wi-Fi. Yeah, he has good Wi-Fi from Pluto, so, well done with that, Kurt.
I see you, Kurt. I know why you didn't turn up.
He'll be back with us next week, so all good. Now we're in the throes of double game weeks galore, like double game weeks all over the place, backs and fronts and everywhere. So before we look ahead to double game week 26, let's take a look at how we all got on in double game week 25. So Brett, would you like to kick us off, buddy? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you.
No, all good. It's my fault for not eating before. Hey guys. So the previous game week 24, it was a shocker for me. So I had a really bad red arrow. No Gundogan was painful. And I was relying in that week for Rashford and Sterling to do the business. They were my differentials, really. And neither of them did. This week, I held Rashford for Newcastle and got 12 points from him. So a good differential this week was Rashford. So that was good. I transferred out Souček this week after much deliberation. I wanted to get one of Dallas or Rafinha. It was obvious to get a second Leeds player for their double game week this week. The plan was to transfer out Soufal for Dallas. That was the initial plan. But if I did that, then I'd have to bench like one of Diaz or Stones. And I think Man City will keep a clean sheet there, which they did. So I brought in Rafinha. Superb performance over the two games from him. Could have had a lot more points. What a player Rafinha is. Obviously a bit gutted now not to get Dallas because he got 17 points, which was my initial transfer. But it wouldn't have worked out too much differently because I would have benched a 6-pointer from Stones and I wouldn't have had Rafinha, who got 11 points more than Souček. So actually didn't work out much differently. But I'm still disappointed that Dallas hold because he's the template player. So the week that I had getting Rafinha as a differential and Rashford was really good until Dallas scored. And then because he's such a strong template player, it was not, even though I got 84, which is a solid week, it could have been much better because it made the average a lot higher for those around me, if you know what I mean. So it was an annoying goal from Dallas, who's a really good option this season. I keep wanting to get him in, but keep finding reasons not to. And he just keeps delivering. So he's one of those players that you dislike if you don't have him, in FPL, of course, top player. So solid week. Decent green arrow. I was at 370k, I think, and now I'm up to 300k. So a bit of progress. Nice. Just undoing a bit of the paying from the week before.
Yeah.
And that's it, really. Yeah, solid week. And I've got 2 free transfers now for the double.
Oh, nice.
So now I'm thinking going Sterling down to Gundogan just to free up 6 million. Either of them could score well in this double game week for Man City, but it just frees up so much money, Sterling to Gundogan. And then it allows me to get, if I want, maybe Kane, DCL will probably come in for Antonio. It creates a lot of opportunities. So 84.
I like Sterling though. He's been, if I could afford him, or if I was wildcarding and I was moving to double city attack, Sterling would definitely be up there for me. So it's interesting you say you want to swap him. I guess it's the monetary thing. So not owning him, it's the same with every player, isn't it? It's not owning them is harder than owning them to a lot of the respect. So like watching Sterling every week for me is quite difficult, not owning him. I'm thinking, oh, you know, I know he's not owned by a lot of people, but he looks dangerous every week. So it's kind of...
You weren't here for the stream last week.
No,
he did not look dangerous in that game.
No, well, no, that, you know, he has matches where he does kind of look a bit dross, but for the majority, the last couple of game weeks, he's looked really quite impressive, I thought. So
yeah, you're right, Nim. Like I like Sterling because he is a differential as well. He's an explosive differential, which is kind of great for the position I'm in. I'd like to move up the ranks, but because and if you look at his scores over the last maybe 8 to 10 game weeks, he's returning quite consistently, 8 pointers, 7, you know, a couple of returns.
You want the explosiveness.
It's not the big scores, and because Gundogan is equaling his score for 6 million less, it's not 1 million or 2 million cheaper, it's 6 million, you know, like that's like an Antonio to Harry Kane or something, you know. So it's just and it's just the fact that it releases so much money and then releases a lot more opportunity for the rest of my team. So if he was scoring really big scores, then I'd be more happy to keep him. And I could keep him for this week, Sterling, but then I can't. You know, Gundogan worries me because he's so heavily owned for much cheaper. Harry Kane, DCL, there's players that I can't get if I don't get Sterling. So I might just bite the bullet.
Gundogan's playing this evening, right? So there's that kind of what happens now with Pep Roulette. Does he, you know?
Also, Gundo's attacking expressiveness could be affected now that KDB is probably going to come back in for that double game week. So I've got a keen eye on Gundo as well to see what his heat maps are going to be like.
Yeah, be interesting.
I mean, I could sell Sterling and not go to Gundogan. He just seems like the obvious replacement. I could go to like Harvey Barnes or something instead if I wanted.
Leicester looks so good, don't they? Barnes
now
is
Maddison's out.
Yeah,
but that makes Barnes more appealing.
Yeah, I think that does as well, actually.
I'm not sure because I kind of like Leicester when they have either your Maddison or your Dennis Pratt. Like, I worry about the balance because Harvey Barnes and Vardy, amazing when they're on form for goal scoring. But unless someone like Tillemans steps up, I'm a bit worried about Leicester now compared to when Maddison was there. I was like, I need to get a Leicester player quick.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. Is it tomorrow night they play? So it'd be interesting to get a good look at them tomorrow night without Maddo and see what lineup they put out and things.
Yeah, but European football compared to Premier League. I watched Liverpool in the Champions League. I was like, yes, Salah's back. It's in. And then the Premier League weekend, we're all going to be like... I was like, what is this? What is this performance?
Who is this?
That's not the Salah I watched a couple of nights ago.
No, fair enough.
Take that mask off. Who are you? It's Kurt in disguise. That's why he's not here.
Yeah, I kind of feel like as well with Gundogan, like, granted, him or Sterling will probably miss one of the games between them in this next double or the following double. So I'm kind of okay with that. They're going to get rotated. It's just if Gundo gets rotated, it's a 6 million play getting rotated. If Sterling gets rotated, it's costing me so much to accommodate him that it's so much more frustrating if he does get rotated because it doesn't allow me to get another big hitter in, you know. So it's just the justification of his price.
Absolutely. And I mean, myself and Ray, it's quite kind of funny that we're sat here almost kind of talking you into keeping Sterling when we've been such big Gundogan kind of trailblazers since the very beginning of kind of having him. So
if I could sorry, quickly.
Go.
If I were to wildcard today, Brett, and I wanted 3 City assets, I would likely go Sterling, Gundo and Diaz.
Yeah, they'd be the 3 I would go for as well.
You know,
boring.
I've got two.
I'd probably go Cancelo actually. I wouldn't go Diaz.
Cancelo.
Yeah.
Pep roulette's on anyone, so you might as well go Cancelo.
No, Diaz is the new company. But anyway, to go back to my point, Brett, is I see what you're saying about Sterling, but I think he's a really, really good premium to own going forward because, you know, there was a time where he wasn't being played, isn't it? Maybe for the first time in a few seasons where he isn't guaranteed, but it looks like he's playing himself back in. Of course, I understand the Gundo frustrations, but with KDB back, I'm really going to keep a keen eye on Gundogan and see how he's going to play moving forward.
I do get you, Ray. It's just the problem I've got is that
it's the
I
price.
agree
isn't
with
it?
you, but it's like if Gundo gets another big score this week, I'm going to be like, there's a Man City player at 6 million.
Yeah.
He keeps doing, and am I gonna feel more stupid that why haven't I got this guy
Mm.
still?
Yeah.
You know, it's like I feel like I'm one of the only people around my rank that hasn't got him. So of course there's a bit of fear factor there. I would love a reason not to go for him, and I hope
Yeah.
De Bruyne does affect him if I don't get him in. But it's just that worry because it almost feels ridiculous that I haven't got him in at that price for a Man City team that scores so many goals, the positions he was getting into before De Bruyne was back.
I mean, if I was you, now that KDB is back, I'd be looking to see if he's worth bringing in. Because I'm looking to see if it's worth taking him out. I know it's a risk, but if Gundo keeps performing the way he's performing, I'm going to feel stupid if I transfer him out. But on the other hand, if he is affected by KDB coming back, you're going to feel stupid if you brought him in too quickly. So say you bring him in, and then it does turn out he's affected, you're going to be like, well, that's a wasted transfer. I've missed his purple patch, and now it's back to the Gundo we knew before he suddenly...
No, it sounds really silly. I was just going to say, I know it sounds...
I'll go after you. I'm excited.
I know. So, as I say, is there any, like, I'm just loving this, Brett's like, give me the information. I was just going to say, like, literally, is there any way you could have both? Like,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
See, we're just there. Like, so for me, if I was wildcarding, which I'm still in the throes of considering, that would be possibly what I would be thinking. But I guess that for me,
that means he might have to take out a City defender because you have 2 City defenders, don't you, Brett?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I had considered that maybe a game week before this one or 2 game weeks back. I was thinking, okay, I'll drop Stones to Dallas rather than Soufal. I'll go Dallas from Stones, and then I can go Souček to Gundogan. So I'd have Sterling and Gundogan. But now, because I've still got Diaz and Stones, and because those two will probably play almost all of these games, it's like, do I really want to mix all that around? They've done me well, those two, you know. They're pretty nailed, those two, for the
what I like about those is the price and the consistency, isn't it? Because for that price you are hopefully most weeks guaranteed a kind of 6, 5, 6, 7 points from those players, which kind of is that whole discussion we've had in the past, like about Robson and Trent, isn't it? With them basically being midfielders, as in you'd need KDB or Sterling to score a goal in order to match that defender's clean sheet points. And if Sterling only gets 1 that week, he's double the price of Stones, Diaz or Cancelo, who's getting the same, near enough the same points. So yeah.
Because I've already used my wild card very early on, I used it in game week 18, I think it was, or something like that. And I said to myself, you know what, because I'm using this wild card early, I've got to be so careful with my transfers now. And because I've already got the double up City defense, and because I've got, the likes of Rashford that I want to get rid of soon, there's other moves that I want to save these transfers for. I granted it's very conservative, but I'm being very cautious with wasting 2 free transfers to do all this changing around when there's other areas that I want to change in the future. So I just think it's a bit of a waste now to get rid of those 2 defenders when they've got 4 games coming up in 2 game weeks, and we'll probably play it minimum 3 games each. So I probably
how are you set up for 29, Brett? I know it's looking a bit forward, but how many players do you currently have for 29?
Well, of course, I've still got the free hit. So because I wildcarded early for that blank that we had before. So I've got Son, Rafinha, Bamford. I've still at the moment got Antonio and Soufal. I think they play in that as well.
Yes, I do.
I mean, like I haven't thought about it too much because I have got the free hit to fall back on. But yeah, I've got the 2 Leeds players. I've got 2 West Ham. I've got 1 Spurs, and I've got got Watkins and Martinez as well.
Okay, so you've got 7.
About 7 there. And look, if I get Harry Kane in, that would give me 8. I could get through that week without.
That's what I was thinking.
Without the free hit, But at the same time,
I was going to say it's actually shaped up quite nicely for a lot of us.
Yeah, for those of us that haven't got that free hit.
Yeah.
So I could use the free hit, but it's not the best week to do it. It's only 4 fixtures. So yeah, I could get through that and just use the free hit on a random week towards the end, maybe, or a double game week in 33 or whatever Ben Krellin is suggesting. So
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Well,
good discussion.
That was
really good.
That was let's all help Brett from FPL TV for about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, when do we get Sergio on our team? Yeah. Cool. Okay, Jay, go on. You next, buddy.
Cool. So, unfortunately for me, the biggest issue I had was the fact that Dallas did do as well as he did. Before Dallas scored a goal, I was looking at a rise in rank to about 180k.
Nice.
But as soon as he scored, I dropped in rank and I'm now at 218k. So it's not terrible. That was a drop of about 7-8k. But it was a red arrow instead of a green because of Dallas, which is unfortunate because he was a player I was considering. And I went with the punt of Danny Ings, just hoping that Leeds game in Southampton was a big goal scoring game for both teams. And it didn't turn out that way. So that's unfortunate. But we did have Fernandes, who got 12 points. I did think about captaining him instead of Bamford, which would have worked out. But of course, as soon as I suggested that in my video, in the comments, you're not going to captain a double game week player. Yeah. And I was like, but it's Bruno Fernandes against Newcastle. We know what he's capable of. Did consider Rafinha as well, which would have worked out slightly better for me. But I just thought, you know what? If Bamford does do amazingly well in this game week, I'm going to be annoyed I didn't captain him. So I did go with the captain of Bamford. Still got Salah on my side. I don't know what it is about him. I'm just worried that there'll be one game week where he suddenly does really well.
I know.
But Liverpool do look terrible.
Without him. I'm still going.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, honestly, I'm genuinely wondering why I still have him in my team.
I'm sure the week I take him out will be the week he's suddenly done well. Which,
like, for you, it's now not smiling.
A problem. I have the biggest smirk on my face. All of you sell him.
Well, you're all going to know why in a second when we get to Ray's team.
But the thing is, once you've managed to go like 3, 4, 5, 6 game weeks without it really bothering the rank, it's okay. If he now suddenly goes big, Brett's going to be like, oh, well, like, I've benefited from not having him for so long. One game week doesn't matter. But, yeah.
Jay, just really quickly, mate. Nuclear pointed out that because you got a 73 -4, you hit the holy grail of 69 this week.
I was trying to be more highbrow because Kurt's not here. I was thinking, Kurt's not here. Let's show it's always Kurt's fault when we go down these rabbit holes.
Keep it classy.
Exactly. But, I mean, in defence, Cancelo, Stones, Loughton, Aurelio. So, points from all of them. Finally, Martinez didn't do really well when he's only been on my bench once. Why am I saying that? I've never dropped him apart from when the double game weeks came in. So 73 points -4 to 69. But it's a bit of an issue now if I just don't know where I'm going to go from here. Because I have my wild card. But I do have a lot of players still playing in double game week 26. Like, I'm looking at it thinking, do I really need to play my wild card? How many players will I change? I've got Martinez, I've got Cancelo, Stones, I've got Shaw, who I suppose is okay for the double game week. Got Fernandes, got Ilkay, got Calvert-Lewin. Grealish looks like he's out, so I can always take him out for a game week player that I fancy in this game week. I have 1.7 in the bank now, so I could upgrade Grealish to someone or look at a Leicester player if I fancied them. Loughton's, of course, on the bench still. So I could potentially bench boost with this side and then have the wild card to focus my value on the 11 from then onwards. So I'm probably leaning towards not using my wild card for this game week.
What is your weakest bench this week then? Like a realistic bench that you would have?
The way I've got it lined up at the moment is Aurelio in goal, Grealish, Loughton and Cresswell. I, of course, could put Loughton in instead of Rafinha or Bamford, but it's Tottenham away and Leicester at home.
I've done the exact same
Cresswell
thing.
away to Man City.
Not
ideal.
Exactly. Cresswell against Man City isn't the best option there. I don't have 2 transfers, but also my team doesn't look too bad for blank game week 29. And so just added 1 or 2 Spurs players, and I'm pretty well set for that as well. So I'm kind of feeling like wildcard in game week 30 might be my plan to try and hit those last 9 game weeks really strong, with the bench boost not affecting me putting more value on my bench than I normally would. So, yeah, I think that's the way I'm going, but I'm not going to say I'm confident that I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Really
It'll probably come to
unlucky with
Friday.
Shaw this week.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know what? He's done well for me recently so far, so I'm okay with keeping
I really
him
like
for now.
Shaw at the moment.
Yeah, especially at that price. The price is kind of the really big selling point. He's just, for that value, really done well for me.
Awesome.
And I see the chat. I see Nahal saying Cresswell against Man City is bad. Bad for the bench boost, but I can't get rid of a West Ham player now if I'm not playing a wildcard.
Not only that, it's 29. You want every player you can get.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm not going to plan ahead, like use a wildcard and then maybe like... That's the thing. If I use a wildcard, I'm afraid I'll have less players for blank game at 29 and I don't have free hit.
That's the problem, isn't it? All the players you want now that look really good for the double, like, don't necessarily line up quite so well with 29. That's kind of where I was at, which I'll discuss a little bit in a moment, but I'll let Ray chat his team next. So
okay, so it was a bit of a roller coaster of a weekend for me. So started just outside 100k, and the aim is always to get in there. So I couldn't believe Rafinha. I mean, it was amazing that he got 2 bonus points considering there wasn't a return. His deliveries were just unbelievable. I was mocking. It was like Just Eat coming to the door and no one opening it. It was just absolutely phenomenal. So I captained Bamford. Going into Saturday, I got Loughton's clean sheet. Salah didn't return, but Areola, I decided to play him instead of Martinez. So I bumped up to like 80k or something. Sunday was a car crash for me. Bruno's effective ownership is just through the roof, isn't it? If he returns, it's bad for you if you haven't captained him. So I went all the way back to the hundreds. And then, Leeds United really got me up. So Dallas's goal was very, very obviously welcome for me. I mean, getting 17 points, and he's been one of the gems of the season, especially with Justin injured now. He might be the defender of the season for me. And popped me up all the way to 79k. So nice. Of course, pretty delighted. And if I may, I've already attacked next week. I really wanted Kane, but not to triple captain, but more of
damage limitation.
Precisely, because I already have Son. So I kept Son and Salah this whole time.
Yeah.
And already made, peace with myself that they might not return. But at some point, when they are attractive assets again, at least I have them. So luckily, I've still been trickling along with the greens. So the idea is to bring in, or I already have, I've taken out Ings and brought in Kane. And I've taken out Areola and brought in Fabry just as bench for the goalkeeper. And I've got nothing in the bank. So I had to move quickly because I expect Kane's price to go up. So it was a hit, but my triple captain will be Mohamed Salah. I'm going quids in with that. So pretty excited.
Talk us through this. Why Salah?
Yeah, talk more, because I messed up and Nim showed up on your team screen for a bit then. I changed it now.
No, that's fine.
I like Ray's score. I will take his OR and his score.
Literally, I've just said to the chat, why did no one go, oh, look at Jay's concentration face? Why did no one spot the mess up? I'm disappointed in you, chat.
Nymphia, you're an 86, okay?
Yes.
That's what you are.
Get in, what an upgrade.
We'll call up FPL Towers. They got it wrong. Our stream said got it.
Show them the stream.
So, first of all, is Burnley and Fulham, their expected goals conceded is not high. They've actually defended pretty well.
Yeah.
So I looked at that and thought that, Fulham have just been a different team in the last 15 games. They've been very unfortunate they haven't actually got more points, in my opinion. So that was one thing that I don't think Spurs will batter them. The second thing is, if Spurs take the lead, they seldomly really go for the throat now. They'll get the 1 goal, they'll sit back on it, go on the counter, and maybe eke a 1 or 2-0. Do I think Kane will be extremely threatening? Absolutely. Do I think he'll return? Yes. But I don't think a lot of people will triple captain Kane and have Son. I don't know, it's just my mental feeling. And when I look at Salah, Liverpool are playing poorly and he still seems to return. He's still getting his shots. He's always looking a threat. And Sheffield United away, I definitely feel Liverpool are going to get some chances. And I think by the time they play Chelsea at home, I expect Fabinho to be back in the defence. So I think then Henderson could possibly go up to midfield. So it could be Fabinho and Kabak at the back. And I think Chelsea will be extremely tested by Liverpool. And I could see a Salah return because he returned against Man City with a dodgy penalty. But I think I really feel Salah could return. And, I've looked at, the hub and stuff like that. And even they're saying that they think he'll get the most points as well. And, I kind of use that just to confirm if I'm being mad or not. But I really fancy Salah will do it. And I'll be honest with you, he hasn't really ever let me down. So yeah, going quids in.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Destroy me.
Yeah, I'd like to ask questions too. Go on, Jim.
I've been looking over the last 6, 4, and 2 game weeks worth of data just to try and see if there's anyone that looks like they're suddenly coming into form in the last 2 game weeks, so on and so forth. Generally, I look at around the top 20 players, and points-wise, Salah isn't in the top 20 players for points in game weeks for 6 game weeks, 4 game weeks, or 2 game weeks. So while he is still returning, it's a bit similar to the Sterling situation of there's not really the halls there. So do I think he's capable of returning? Definitely.
What are you expecting from it, Ray? What would you be happy with?
What would you be happy? Yeah, that's where I was going. What would you be happy with from him to use your triple captainship?
2 returns, I'll be very happy.
So you'd like a goal in each game?
Yeah.
Or an assist?
Yeah, sure.
You can get 10 points or more.
Yeah. Yeah. But of course, but when he scores, he always gets in the bonuses as well. Now, of course, I'd like to think I did my research as well and looked at the stats and everything. Is Liverpool are playing very poorly.
It looks like Jesus has scored, by the way.
Liverpool are playing very poorly right now, aren't they? Just in every way. And I do feel that they're going to turn that corner at some point because they're going to be absolutely forced to. Because they're starting to really go down and drop behind in the top 4.
I think it was a Bernardo assist.
And I'm kind of thinking that with the returns of some injuries, possibly Jota is going to be back pretty soon. That I do think this will inspire a lot of the players to kind of pull their fingers out a bit more. But I am relying on Fabinho getting back as well at the centre defence, so that releases Henderson to start dictating.
Is Henderson injured?
He could return.
Yeah, we'll look at what Mr. Ben says.
Obviously, you've talked about Kane, as a consideration, but you're pretty set on Salah. Have you considered triple captaining Fernandes this week?
I have, but he also has Chelsea.
I know, but
is it not?
I'm thinking
I'd be more confident in Fernandes.
Why is everyone, including myself, talking ourselves out of captaining Fernandes? Isn't this
no, he's my captain. He's my captain.
I was
but are you? Sorry, guys.
I probably won't.
Is anyone playing triple captain apart from me?
No, I am.
I am.
Okay.
I might play.
I will be. I think.
Okay. You know what, Brett? It was actually out the 2 of them.
Okay.
I never considered Harry Kane or Gundogan.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it doesn't put a downer on your Salah captain choice, but the medical department is not positive about Jordan Henderson's injury.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll discuss triple captain and wildcard a little bit more in just a second. I'll just quickly run through how I got on.
Sorry, we don't have time.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
You got more points than me. If Kurt showed up,
okay then.
If Kurt showed up, I wouldn't have been the worst point scorer, but thanks, Kurt.
I see. Right, okay. I have to say it wasn't looking all that great until last night for me either.
Dallas owner.
I know. I risked playing Sanchez over Martinez. Thankfully, it didn't hurt me too much. I just lost out on the 1 point. Annoying that Palace decided to get their one shot on target in the back of the net. Sorry, Mig, but it was slightly frustrating because otherwise Sanchez was on for a nice clean sheet there. Me and Cancelo got 5 apiece. I'll take it. Really dislike me in my team. Can't wait to sell him. Bruno kicking butt, as you guys said, in midfield as the single game week player we all should have had captained. Salah, Gundogan, Son were all a waste of space this week. Not really great. I had a headache on who to play with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Gundogan and Antonio, as they were all flagged.
Ouch.
Yeah. And of course, I benched Antonio over the other two, and Antonio scored and got the most points out of all three of them. So that wasn't fab. But, you know, I'll take the Calvert-Lewin contentious assist, whether I deserved it or not, but I'll definitely take it. A lot of points benched. Slightly frustrating. That seems to be happening most weeks for me, but I guess that's the kind of downside of having quite a strong bench. But it was definitely all about the Leeds trio last night who pulled it back for me, having the, you know, the triple threat, Dallas, Rafinha and Bamford as captain. Slight annoyance, as Jay said, I was kind of between Bruno and Rafinha. I was kind of leaning more on that kind of midfielder, getting the extra points for being in midfield and clean sheet thing. And then I just saw, like, it seemed like everyone was going to be captain in Bamford. And it was a pure ownership thing. It just, panic came over me that so many people owned Bamford and so many people were going to be captaining because it was a double game week. And yeah, I just kind of thought, if he goes big, then I'm going to be, you know, in the dust, basically. So just stuck with the crowd on that one, as boring as it was. But I still can't complain, you know, 79 points, nice green arrow. I'm at my highest OR of the season now, which is still fairly low compared to you guys, but considering I've, you know, pulled my way back from 3 million, I'm not doing too bad.
11 green arrows from 13 game weeks, from 3 million to 500k.
Yeah,
like
not
you're on a
doing
bit
too
of a
badly.
roll at the moment.
Not doing too badly. I'm just kind of head down and just plugging away.
Feel free
at
to
it.
slow down.
Grinding.
I am grinding. Yeah, I'm really trying my hardest here.
All the Wildcats aren't separated by much now. We're all quite close.
Yes.
So how many points would I be away from you guys in that kind of 200?
I think you're like maybe 20 off Kurt, 20 points off Kurt, maybe 30 off me, and then maybe 50 off Jay or something.
Okay, it's not bad.
And Ray's ahead of me. Damn it.
And then Ray's probably about maybe 70, 80 points ahead.
Okay, that's probably unattainable, but we won't.
By the way, in my mind, Ray doesn't count this season because he wasn't a Wildcat at the start.
He joined halfway through. Yeah. Okay, I'm good with that.
Asterisk there. Like, I wanted to be the top Wildcat, and then Ray just comes in. I'm like, oh great, why couldn't we invite someone lower ranked than me?
But yeah, just moving on to game week 26. For me, it's been whether to wildcard or triple captain. For me, because even though
so you're definitely doing one or the other. You're
definitely doing one or the other, because it's the Leeds lads that have changed my kind of thinking. So before last night, a wild card looked a lot more fruitful, because I was thinking, well, I can move Rafinha to Barnes, I can get Kane in, I can switch me out, who I don't really like, and get a Fulham defender in, and I can just, tweak a few things. I was thinking I could maybe do 5 or 6 different changes, and maybe even Bamford out if I wanted, and go with a Watkins, who also has a game in 29. So I was kind of thinking I could, switch it up there. And then that game happened last night, and it reminded me why I wanted 3 Leeds players in the first place for the double and for the rest of the season.
Because what I will say about Leeds is taking Dallas and Bamford out was probably the worst transfers I've made this season.
Yeah.
Because yes, they're not always consistent, but if you actually look at their price, take their price into account, their ability to be explosive for that price is too much. For me, too much of a risk not to own, especially with them having that game in blank game week now, blank game week 29. Yeah. So, literally,
the price is so good as well.
I took both of them out in one game week, and that game week I suffered because that was a game week where they got a clean sheet and they scored good points. And now I've got 2 of them back. Yes, I would have preferred a bit more from Rafinha and Bamford than they got, but Dallas was the better transfer than Ings. I took a punt on an extra transfer, and I should have gone with Dallas. And whilst their style of play is always capable of capitulating against teams, and you're like, oh, great. they have that ability, especially with 2 games, which they had in Game Week 25, to have one of those games be a 3-0 with like 2 or 3 of your players scoring points.
Yeah, so I'm completely with you. I sold Dallas a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like, what have I done? I hated not owning him. And every week I was like, Corbin Dallas multi-pass, I need my multi-pass back. I need my multi-pass. Anyone watches Fifth Element or knows Fifth Element, every time I'm just like, I need my multi-pass. So the second I had a chance to get him back in, I actually took a bit of a risk because I knew Everton had such great double game weeks coming up. So I sold Digne to get Dallas back in this week, which was in the first match when Dallas conceded and Digne got a clean sheet, was a bit kind of like, oh, here we go, what have I done? But actually it turned out great in the second match. And actually slight upgrade in the Soufal to Rafinha as well, in midfield with my 2 transfers. But yeah, it's them that's kind of changed my thinking now on that wildcard, because now I'm thinking I would like to really keep them, and I would like to have them for game week 29. And so that only really leaves me with 3 players in my team that I'm really considering moving on, and that's Antonio, me, and Soufal. And well, the West Ham lads have a game in 29 as well. So I'm not, and Antonio isn't that bad. He looks quite good. So it's like
Leeds in 27.
I know.
Well, I quite like that one.
So for me, I'm just thinking I have quite a lot of money in the bank. I have something like 3.5 or something in the bank. I can't quite get to Kane in one move. I would need to drop me to somebody around 4 million, which is completely doable on a -4 transfer, and then that person can go on the bench. And I would play Dallas this week against Aston Villa, which to me doesn't sound all that terrible.
No, not at all.
On one move, though, I can move Antonio and still keep Soufal and I can move Antonio onto Vardy, who I want to see what happens tomorrow night with him, but he has Arsenal and he loves a goal against Arsenal.
He does.
So I was kind of thinking double game week for him.
Yeah.
If I don't want to sell Rafinha to get Barnes in, then it's another way into Leicester attack. And obviously he has the penalty thing as well. Or I've actually really been considering Richarlison in that spot and going double Everton up top, just because of how good those fixtures are and how consistent Richarlison's been in the last.
Jay will be loving that one, won't you, Jay?
Oh, sorry. I just seen Kurt's message in the chat and I was trying to think how quickly I could get him in. And yeah, if you told me before the stream, I could have had it set up. But sorry, Kurt. Sorry, what was said that I would like?
Nim's considering Richarlison, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here and drink my wine.
Drink his wine. So yeah, I've got a couple of moves that could, I guess, strengthen. Well, I don't even know if it's strengthening, because we've all seen that single game week players can outdo double game week players.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I don't even know whether I'm doing the right thing by selling Antonio. I suppose I'm just really giving myself the chance at a shot. And I guess I am torn, because I was so set, again, like I was a couple of weeks ago, that I was going to get Kane and he was going to be my move in. And then I watched them on the weekend and I kind of thought, do I really need Kane in my team? I mean, he's not as highly owned as he used to be. And he's dropping a lot deeper. Okay, he had a lot of attempts and he did miss chances, but I can't say I watched that match and I was like, oh my God, I've got to get Harry in. Like, this is killing me, I can't, I can't do it. I can't watch this match, and not own him.
Just watch Kane and then watch Salah's performance, and then it will help make Kane look better.
Probably. To be honest, that was what I was going to say though. Like,
I'm
for
gonna get
me,
you, don't worry.
yeah, but that's it for me. Like, if I was going to wild card, I think unless I'm going to be brave enough and sell Salah, there's not much point in me wildcarding right now. There's just not much point in me wildcarding for 3 or 4 players. It doesn't make any sense.
I fully agree.
That's it. The reason I'm not really thinking of wildcarding is I'm looking at my side and what would I change?
Yeah.
And it's not as big a change to my side as I think potentially I might make later on down the line that could benefit me. Because there's a chance.
Pops on.
I'm looking at all these wildcard teams on Twitter and I'm thinking, yeah, that looks like a great team.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at my team thinking, in a given game week, my team could beat that team that person's got.
Kev is trying to persuade me to wildcard because he's on wildcard.
I would hate myself if I played a wildcard for 3 or 4 players and then the performance is underwhelming. I'd need those 3 or 4 players to do really well and the 3 or 4 that I've taken out to not do anything for me to feel like it was a good wildcard.
Yeah, I know. And then I'm just thinking, I still have the bench boost as well. And you know what? Actually, if it wasn't for Martinez, with Grealish being out now, I'm looking at the bench that I have and I'm thinking I could even potentially bench boost this week if I wanted.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't have a bench full of double game week players, but I have a bench full of Leeds players that we know can do a madness on any given week.
Like the bench boost feels like a hindrance now almost. I'm like, if
I was so happy to use it in 19 or whatever it was.
Like, it just feels like I feel like I'd use my wildcard better if I don't have the bench boost. Because usually you just wait until like game week 34, and at least then it's only, say, 5 or 6 game weeks that you have to plan for. So you can wildcard, bench boost, and then hopefully have a team good enough for the game weeks after that. But with this game week being so big, but there still being a lot of the season left for you to affect your season, I just feel like the bench boost is almost like a hindrance there, just sitting there going, use me, and I'm like, you know what, I really do want to just get you out of the way and like then focus on my 11.
It's easy to say now, obviously, but next season I will genuinely consider using it in game week 1 and just getting it out of the way. Yeah.
See, I kind of disagree a little bit. Just simply because I try to never think of a chip as a negative. And whilst I sit here as somebody who's probably benched like 50 points, if not more, in the last like 6 game weeks, and I know whatever game week I choose to play.
Sorry to interrupt you, Nim, but breaking news: Aguero has come on.
Oh, hello. Maybe I will walk. There's Kev going.
I wouldn't usually interrupt you mid-sentence, but I was like, it's Aguero.
And not only that, he's got his dark hair back. Oh my God, I'm swooning. My God, he looks gorgeous. Oh my God.
Welcome to the 10 hottest players in the Premier League right now.
Oh my God, he looks so much better with that dark hair. Wow.
Nim, we're doing FPL content, remember.
Back to the FPL.
Back.
Nim, I did have a... Sorry, Nim, sorry to interrupt, but I was
Interrupt
thinking...
my moment. Okay, here you go.
Have you had it yet? He does look better than the silver eagle thing he was trying.
Go, buddy.
For 29, so I'm thinking maybe a slightly different strategy for you. First of all, I think this week bench boost is a real viable option if you have the card.
Yeah.
But also I'm thinking to kind of start setting up a bit for 29 as well, and then look to wildcard in 30, because that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that's the current plan.
Oh, well, now I have to do something different, so I want to beat you.
How many players, if you could mute yourself, how many players? I can't say 2 words.
Fortunately, I control the stream, mate.
I can tell. I can legit tell.
I've started a new
This isn't your video from earlier. You can't control me now.
I was very polite, actually. But Nim,
yeah, go on, buddy.
How many players would you be comfortable playing in 29? Because currently I'm set for about 8 or 9. I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
How many do you currently have?
Okay, first of all, can I just say, don't make me laugh too much. I started a new exercise regime this week and my abs are killing me. So this is just mean right now. It's torture. So yeah, I'm happy with about 7 or 8. I think I'd be pretty happy with. So
currently you have about 6 or 7.
yeah,
don't
I
you?
have about 6 or 7 at the moment, and obviously if I get Kane in, then not Vardy, get Kane or it's just Kane really, Richarlison or Vardy wouldn't be there, but that would give me another. But otherwise, we do have 3 game weeks as well between now and then, so there are a couple of little tinkers that could happen along the way. Oh, mind you, one of my ways to get Kane in would be moving me to Mitchell, and I think Crystal Palace have 29, right?
Yeah,
29 they have Arsenal.
I believe so.
So
West Ham have Arsenal.
They
Sorry,
don't.
yeah, they
West Ham.
don't. They do not.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
Fulham,
Maybe it's more
Leeds,
Brighton.
They
You might
do
be
play.
thinking Brighton against
Newcastle.
Brighton,
Newcastle.
okay.
Yeah.
So he's a potential if he keeps his spot, which Palace did look a lot better when he played this week, so I'm hoping Roy kind of notices that and pays attention to that. So yeah, he could be another potential if he keeps his spot. I wouldn't be expecting a whole lot from him, obviously, but he's another player there. So yeah, I'm with you, buddy. About 7 or 8 would be enough, really. But just to kind of bring it back, I am seriously considering playing my triple captain rather than my bench boost, because I think if I hold my wildcard now, which it looks like I'm likely to do until around 30, I think I will wildcard a team that I will either roll straight into a bench boost, or that I'll look at the fixtures ahead and decide on a week when to bench boost using that wildcard.
Set it up.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I think I'm more likely to triple captain if I don't wildcard this week. And my triple captainship is currently wavering between Calvert-Lewin and Bruno. So they are. I think because if I get Kane, it will be like I said to Ray earlier. It will be damage limitation. It's not that I don't think he can haul, because I think that he will. But how can I explain? I don't feel it. I don't feel it in my bones.
Likewise.
I just don't feel it in my bones, and I would. My fun side of me wants to put it. My captaincy is on DCL at the moment, so my fun side of me really is considering the triple captain on DCL. But my kind of sensible head is saying Bruno, so I'm not sure which one will win out before the weekend. But that's kind of where I'm at. And actually, we've got quite a few questions asking us on the best triple captain options, and FPL Donu was one of them. So anyone else want to throw some names in the mix there in terms of triple captain? I think we've pretty much discussed the main options, haven't we? So
what about Man City? Would there be anyone from Man City you would consider, guys?
So what are we thinking, lads? Jay, anyone Man City you'd consider as
Sorry, I've been sidetracked because there was a comment talking about El Mohammadi at 4.3 million.
Right.
Double game week and game week 29 because Cash is out. So I was trying to find out when Cash is back. So ask someone else and I will think about that question.
Brett?
Okay.
Yeah. Brett, what about City? Would you ever consider anyone?
Of course they're considerations, but I just can't see myself doing that. I've got the triple captainship left. I'm considering to play it this week on Bruno, just because of the knowledge I know he'll play both games. I just like that fact alone, that I know for sure he's playing both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course, injury aside, you never know. But yeah, with Man City, you're always worrying that if one play, maybe plays the first game and you think, oh no, then it's that nervousness of the lineup for the second game, and vice versa. I mean, it's not often you see Kevin De Bruyne as such a big differential. So if you are really chasing, and with him not playing today, maybe he plays both in the week, in the double game week. That would be a tasty differential triple captain, Kevin De Bruyne. But I just don't think I could consider anyone else really. I know Gundogan's been exceptional, and Sterling is obviously he's an option as well. Even the defenders, like Diaz or
I've seen a couple of people do that this season actually. Yeah. Triple captain on City defender.
Just quickly looking at the team. So yeah, back-to-back home games, West Ham, Wolves, they've kept so many clean sheets. So let's imagine that they keep 2 clean sheets, which is more than realistic. Okay. Likelihood is they keep one, because of course it's hard to keep two, but they've done it so many times. Let's say they keep two. So that's if Diaz plays both, that's 2 points for starting plus the 6 point. That's 16 points for a triple captain.
And he always gets bonuses when they get a clean sheet.
Yeah, if they don't score loads, then he's got a chance of bonus as well. So a 16 pointer for a triple captain is, in my mind, dreamland. That is exactly what you want. Anything more than 10. If you can get 12 points from a triple captain, you got to think, yeah, I'll take that. I will take 12 points, you know? So yeah, even if they keep one, that's 8 points for one clean sheet, or 6 points maybe. Yeah, and then another 2 from the other, so 8 points. You know, it's not too bad. Yeah, but for me, it's going to be Fernandes. I think if I go for it, it'll be Fernandes, just because he's in ridiculous form. Chelsea are in good defensive form, but he might nick a penalty. And then Palace, you know, both away fixtures. He's been good away from home. He's got so many avenues to get points, and I just love the guarantee, the certainty that he'll play both games. So I just feel like it's a bit of a no-brainer just to stick with Bruno this week. If I don't triple, I'll still captain him, because I want to stop overthinking it all the time. You know,
You know, it feels so shield to have Kane, and it almost feels like going for Bruno is sword, even though I feel that's the safest choice out of all of them. Even above Salah, I think it's like the safest choice to triple captain Bruno.
I think there's this, we're kind of looking at it all wrong, aren't we? Because Kane isn't anywhere near as highly owned, right, as what he was earlier on in the season since that injury. And Bruno is quite highly owned and will be quite highly captained. So would that make our triple captain chip less effective, Brett, compared to somebody who's getting Kane and triple captain in them if he does something?
Can you repeat that again, please, Nick?
Yeah, so Kane is not as highly owned as what he was earlier on in the season, I don't believe. I think
27%.
Okay, 27%. I think he was at one point like 30 or 40, right? So
and Bruno 60. Sorry.
Bruno, there we go. Exactly. That's my point. He's 60% owned. So he's going to be quite highly captained in a double game week, I would have imagined. Does that make if we decide to go for Bruno, would that make, say they both get a goal each, okay, Bruno will get the extra couple for, for being midfielder. But if he gets a clean sheet, but does that make our triple captain chip less effective because of the ownership and possibly higher captaincy of Bruno? Are we gaining anything, if you see what I mean, by triple captaining Bruno this week instead of just captaining him and using our triple captain chip on a more differential player down the line?
That depends how big he goes, because you're getting more points than anyone that captains him.
Exactly, because of the effective ownership as well.
Yeah. So if he went and scored a hat-trick, of course, you're then getting that hat-trick not just doubled, but tripled. So it does depend how big he goes, whether it's really that big a benefit or not. So it's all about whether you look at those 2 game weeks he's got. If you really think he could go huge in both games, then it would be worth it. If you think he's going to get 1 goal, and you think you can play it better at a different point in time, then captaining him is fine.
I think that's just like my back and forth between him and DCL, because I'm thinking, Bruno's safe. Hopefully he gets one goal, maybe 1 assist in the Chelsea game, possibly a penalty, and then I'm thinking DCL, but then I guess DCL's probably more owned, isn't he? Is he? Oh gosh, I'm not sure now.
Well, then Fernandes.
He's like 35.
35. So he's less owned. So using the triple captain on him, if he went big, would that put me better or worse off than those who have captained Bruno? It's just an interesting thing I'm kind of processing in my head.
Just really quickly to correct my mistake, by the way, when I was talking about Diaz, I was counting clean sheets as 8 points rather than 6. So thanks, Kev, in the chat for clearing that up. But even 12 points over the 2 would be a dream, good. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Nim. And of course, if a player is lower owned and you triple captain them, of course, then you want Bruno to be quieter. You would want your differential to outscore Bruno, and then of course it will fire you up the rankings more if the more popular player doesn't do well, and then your player that is lower owned does well. Especially if you triple captain them, it's a really good moment, you know. But I think it's overthinking it a bit, because ultimately it just depends what your player scores.
Yeah.
So whether you triple captain Bruno or Kane, if Bruno gets 15 points, then your chip is just worth 15 points. Your triple captain chip has just added 15 points to your score. It's that simple. So whether you triple captain Kane or Bruno, whoever gets the most points, it's just, that's what you've used the chip for, that extra 15, that extra 12. So
that's added it to your total.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you use it on. Of course, if you're chasing, you can play it on a lower owned player, but effectively it doesn't make that chip any more powerful in terms of what you gain. You're still hoping the other player doesn't do as well.
It only does if the higher owned player doesn't do as well.
Interesting point from
it can benefit you, but ultimately the chip is just whatever the player gets.
Sultan Saeed does point out that 17% for Kane in the top 10k. So his ownership's slightly lower, probably in higher teams. So he's making the assumption, and I probably agree with it.
10k.
But what he makes the point is dead teams probably still have Kane, which is upping his percentage.
Right, okay. Maybe.
Whereas active managers...
You can imagine a massive change.
Oh, yeah. And loads are bringing him in now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, then let's move on to Nuclear's question. He's asked, should I take a -4 hit to bring in Madison / Barnes, don't know which one, and target for Grealish and Sufol and use the bench boost? This move will make me have 14 double game week players. That was his first question. So I heard some news today that Madison's probably going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. So it's a hip injury. They got a doctor's diagnosis today, but apparently they're not happy with it. So they're going to go see they're going to get another diagnosis, but it is around 3 to 4 weeks at the moment, I think I've seen. So I think if you are considering bringing one of those in, I don't know what the guys think, but it's probably safer to edge with Barnes.
Definitely the safer option.
Yeah. So yeah, and target for Grealish and Sufal. What do we think on the target move? I mean, are we missing a player there? Because so Barnes would come in for Grealish. Target would come in for Sufal. Okay. So I don't mind those moves. What's everyone else think?
I'm going to be honest. I think potentially it's a move that isn't necessary. Like, both Target and Sufal are decent options. Similar price. Sufal's slightly cheaper. Both have
away to City though, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you're thinking long term, so it depends if he's planning to chip out of this side.
It's the bench.
He is, because
he's bench boosting.
Yeah,
bench
14
boosting.
double game week players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ultimately depends if he wants to use the bench boost. Really, is that what you're saying, James?
Yes.
The transfer is pointless if he's not using.
It's pointless if he's not going to bench boost. If he is bench boosting,
that's what
he then has to think about
the BB question mark.
He's got to think about his side after that. So, is he going to be happy with that change to target long term? Because unless he has no other concerns, and he can just transfer him straight out after the double game week, I don't see the necessity of the transfer.
No, but then he has target for 29.
But Sufal plays in 29 as well. So which player would he prefer long term?
Yeah, but Villa might have another double game week before 29.
They could. They could not. You're guessing what they're going to put the game at.
Okay. But Villa have a better game this week than West Ham.
Yeah, but I don't like making transfers for one game week. Unless you have an exit strategy. If you have an exit strategy, then go for it. I'm all for it. So my point would be, if you know exactly how you're going to go with this player, if you're going to keep him after, great. If you're going to exit out, great. Make the move. But don't just think about one game week.
Yeah, but I'd assume Target, he probably has 2 City defenders.
I like the move.
Me too.
I like the move. I'm not sure Target is the best option at this price now, but Sufal out just makes sense to me. Like looking at West Ham's fixtures, I can't see myself playing Sufal more than if Sufal's in my team still for the next game week at home to Leeds, then I'll play him. Apart from that, okay, the blank game week as well. But longer term, I don't like Sufal's fixtures, and The only thing that concerns me about Villa is obviously Grealish being out, because without him,
So I'm going to annoy the Arsenal fans, but game week 29 Arsenal, game week 30 Wolves. I don't mind those two fixtures.
I mean,
so Brett, continue with your point, please.
No, to be fair though, if it's one thing,
targets fixtures longer term, and
Yeah.
he's got I like his double this week: Leeds and Sheffield United. Chance for attacking returns against Leeds, maybe, and a chance of a clean sheet against Sheffield United. Wolves and Newcastle after that as well. Yeah, I'm not sure he's the best option at this price, but if you want a bench boost at 4.9 million for a double game week against Leeds and Sheffield United, good option for this week, I think.
Which defence do you think is better, though, at the moment? West Ham or Aston Villa?
Without Grealish, West Ham. Yeah, because I know Grealish is not a defender for Aston Villa, but because he's out, it's like when Zaha's out for Palace or something. It's like, I can see them.
And which one of those two has the better underlying stats? Because I think Soufal has the better underlying stats as far as potential to return points.
I'm not sure.
I am, because I looked it up. I'm backing my West Ham boys, sorry. You lot back your Arsenal boys. I'll back my West Ham boys.
Excuse me, wait, I haven't said anything yet. He's just lumping us all in together.
Because he knows he's going to get destroyed soon.
Is this going to be the same thing with Odegaard after Odegaard's recent performance, yeah? His great game against Man City.
It was. No, go on, Brett.
Yeah, I guess you can't bench boost, though, if you keep Soufal, really. I know it's.
I agree. If he's going to bench boost, I would prefer Target, but I would like an exit strategy, or if you prefer the fixtures, for Target to be considered after the game.
I think
I like the move personally. Sorry, Nim. After you.
No. I was just going to say, if it's one thing this season has taught us, is that there are results when you don't expect them. So I'm kind of like, whilst I sit here and I look at it and I'm kind of I can see like why Brett and Ray have said, yeah, that's the better option. I kind of with Jay a little bit as well, because I can
wait. Huh?
It's just exactly when you wouldn't think Soufal would do as well is when he probably would do well. It's been
one of those seasons. You're damn right about
it just has been one of those seasons, and I think Nuclear, just have a good think about who you want long term out of those. And I don't think necessarily that it weakens your bench boost to have single game week players. I mean, we've seen time and time again that single game week players have often outscored double game week players. So have a good realistic idea of what a bench boost, how much you'd like from your bench boost, and then figure out whether you think those players will get you that.
He has just put in the chat, how about going to Reguilon from Spurs?
I don't like Spurs defence, personally.
Bit of rotation.
Can you get to Shaw?
Well.
Can you get to Shaw Nuclear? He would be one that I would be, or even Anya from Fulham, or is it Anya from Fulham?
Yeah,
I quite like him.
I know.
Anya from Fulham, I quite like him. So they'd be the two
I
I'd
like
be
him
suggesting.
Too. He was an answer to a hopefully future question.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, cool. And Nuclear did ask also who to captain out: Bruno, Gundogan, DCL, or a Leicester midfielder. Well, we've discussed, liking Bruno, DCL over Gundogan. What do we think about the Leicester midfielder in Barnes as a potential captaincy option, lads? Ray.
Oh, if it works for him, he's just going to absolutely smash it and climb up the rankings. But if it fails, then he's going to plummet pretty badly. So,
are you thinking of yourself here with Salah?
No, but Salah's like 40% owned, so it's not as much of a risk as you guys are making out.
No, true.
I just I wouldn't. You see, I keep being let down when I captain non-premiums, I feel. So, if I'm going for a captain,
Gundogan's been pretty good to me.
He has, but I feel this season's an anomaly a little bit. I think we'll get back to normal. But out of the ones he's picked, I'll go Bruno, hands down, like comfortably.
Yeah. I seen that Nuclear said I can guess Shaw, but he doesn't play in the blank. No, but Anaya does, Nuclear. He's one of
I love
those.
how the name's changing every time you say it.
Yeah, well, I said Anya initially, and you guys corrected me, so I'm going with what you guys said.
I didn't correct you. I have no idea how to say the name.
Aina.
That sounds bad.
I will say it wrong in the next 5 minutes if the next question comes. I'm just going to go say the name for me, Ray, and then I'll carry on.
Say my name. Okay, cool. Kurt has put in a question. Sorry about posting my team, but here goes.
He always complains about team screenshots. We're not answering that one. Go to the next one.
He apparently has £1 in the bank.
It's got £1.
If we didn't want to, actually, what was he to say? What are your thoughts? What would we do with the 1 million? To be fair, Kurt, your team looks stacked already. Yeah. Did Chelsea? Have
it looks stacked,
game
but
week?
his recent game week score wasn't that great. Just say.
Did he ask for a super differential? Did he?
Yeah, that's the only one I went
Yeah.
for. I looked at the super differential.
Okay. And that was going to be Barnes. Oh no, that was going to be Anaya, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. Cool. Super differentials. Richarlison. There you go.
Well, you know I couldn't say Richarlison because the amount
Antonio
of stick I'd
to
get.
Richarlison. There you go, buddy. Thank me later.
I wonder if Ray's going to say the same one as me.
Go on,
After
then.
you, pal. After you, while I look at the stats.
Oh, so he doesn't have one ready by the sounds of it.
I
Quickly
know.
get in there.
Without looking at any stats, so I haven't looked at stats, but I'm going to say for super differentials, they both got the same name, Pereira.
Okay.
So Pereira
Love
from
it.
West Brom, I think he's a super differential. It's like 1% ownership. Okay, hasn't done well in the last couple of games, but he's on all set pieces, penalties. Nice double game week this week. Brighton at home, Everton at home. Brighton have been decent defensively, to be fair, but I still like the fixture on paper. And then Ricardo Pereira at Leicester, less than 1% ownership. Hard to get in because he is, an expensive defender. And hard to justify when you've got the likes of Digne, as well. But yeah, as a super differential, I like Pereira, who was out playing, far forward in the last game. So they would be my two super differentials, both around 1% ownership with nice double game weeks. Leicester have got great fixtures as well. So I like Pereira long term.
I was going to go Josh Maja anyway. I was kind of teasing.
Nice.
He's looked, Fulham have looked a different team with him up front. I feel like he actually gives threat, not only with the pressing, but the counter press as well. And he looks a lot better up there than, is it Cavallero who was playing up there before? Am I getting it right? Yeah. So since he's been playing, I feel Fulham have more of an outlet. I think he links up pretty nicely with Lookman as well. And their fixtures are away to Crystal Palace and home to Tottenham. And when I've watched Fulham against the top teams at home recently, they really look a threat. Like against, was it against Man U where they got a draw against Man U, didn't they? I don't know, maybe
I know Anguissa got an assist because he was sitting on my bench.
and especially when they played played Man U at Liverpool at home before Liverpool went on this really barren run.
Yeah, they did look good in that game. People were saying, really Fulham's the new Barcelona.
They look really good. So I'm going to back Josh Maja to get a return in one of those two games.
Cool. That's a good differential. I like that. I'm completely with you with Fulham. That's why I was liking Anaya for the defensive there for Atoms. So
do you know over the last 2 game weeks who the highest scoring player in FPL is?
Harvey Barnes?
No, it's Amarabayo or someone like that. What's his name? The Fulham guy.
You've been speaking about him, yeah. Last 2 game weeks, he's got 28 points.
Thank you. See? There you go, Atoms. Thank me later, buddy.
And over the last 4 game weeks, he is the highest scoring. Nope, Dallas is the highest scoring defender, but Aina is second.
If I was wildcarding this week, that's who I'd be doing. In fact, I have considered -8 to actually just get him in for the double.
Because the plus point with him is if you are wildcarding, he's cheap, so he's a bench player from then on.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect player in my eyes.
We still talking about this Aina?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
you've considered a
I
minus
think we've got the
80.
name now.
Sky.
Yeah.
I'm
I know.
not taking the minus for him.
I
But if
know.
I was wildcarding, he plays in game week 29.
no, that's
Him
what
is
I
cheap.
said. That's why they're asking me. No, because I was considering initially. I didn't realize I needed the cash from somewhere for Kane. So what I was gonna do as part of the -8 was Antonio out, Sufal out, and me out, and then I was gonna get Mitchell and Aina. Is that right? And Kane. So that would be my -8. And whilst I don't need to do that because I can just do the Mitchell Kane move, there is a part of me that really wants to do that to get Anaya in so that I can have,
Okay.
I can
Well,
just have
squad.
him long term, and because his price is going to go up because people are sleeping on him.
Because we've
basically.
just said how good he is, and
Yes.
now his price is going to
Yeah.
skyrocket.
Exactly that. And actually, while we're talking about that, for anyone watching, please, if you could hit the like button if you're enjoying the stream. If you haven't subscribed, then please do so. I think your name will pop up somewhere on screen.
There's
is that right?
49 of you watching, and only 21 of you have hit the like button.
Yeah, and
So I'm going to do a Kurt and go, I'm disappointed in you.
and and your name should pop up on screen as well.
It
if you've
should
subscribed.
do. I have been working behind the scenes and changing a lot of stuff.
Ooh,
So it should, but if it
should,
doesn't,
right.
it's all my fault. Apologies.
But thank you anyway. And yeah, so I just quickly, I did go over to our also the sponsors of the stream, Fantasy Football Scout, and I did the vote in the captaincy poll, and actually currently at the moment Kane is leading that captaincy poll with 31.7% of the votes. So yeah, I mean, I think take that if you will, but Bruno Fernandes second with 15.68%. So yeah, interesting on that one when we were considering the captaincy. Okay, cool. FPL _Najib says, hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. I have 9 double game week players for this week and 1 free transfer. I have 5.2 million in the bank. Wow, he's got cash. He's got cash. My plan is to get Kane for Antonio, and that will give me 10 double game week players. So is it worth it to get one of these players for a hit? And his options are Rashford to Barnes or Rafinha to Traore.
Bertrand Traore.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
assuming
I'd
it's
assume
better.
so.
Assuming so. Yeah. So Jay, go on, you first.
I don't like those transfers, but that
Mhm.
a lot of that is to do with the fact that I'm looking at Barnes as less interesting a player now that Maddison is injured. So if Maddison wasn't injured, I would probably be quite keen on that move to Barnes. It could be completely wrong, but I just feel like without Maddison in that team, he's a very creative player and a player that I think is very important to the way Leicester play. And I think when he was injured before, they had Dennis Pratt, who did very well playing a similar role to him, and he's not available now. So I don't particularly like that move. And what was the other move?
Rafinha to Traore.
I'm not sold on an Aston Villa player with Grealish out. I think it's a bit almost like, I wouldn't say it's as big an effect as, no, I'd say it's worse than when Barkley was out. But when Barkley was out, suddenly that Aston Villa side didn't look quite as effective. And I think with Grealish out, and I could be wrong again, I worry about how effective they'll be on the attack. So I personally don't like either move.
Yeah, so I see he's in a similar situation to me, really, apart from the fact that he has, who do we have differently in midfield? So he's got Rashford instead of Salah. But
I mean, I'll take Rashford over Salah right now.
well, yeah.
Really?
But I
think
quite
he's
like
teasing
Rashford.
me.
I think he's doing well.
Ray, you know me too well already.
I'm looking at his team here because I've got it in front of me, and you know what? I quite like. I'm in the similar situation. I mean, I think Antonio to Kane, if you want to, just to kind of, as we know, a lot of the community is going to be doing a Kane in move. And obviously, as we've just said about on Fantasy Football Scout, he's, being chosen as quite highly captained at the moment. So there's nothing against that move. But then I'm looking, I know you can have a bit of money in the bank, but I'm looking at either of the options, and you have Soufal on the bench with Bamford and Dallas. I'd be more tempted to do something with Soufal than I would be Rafinha or Dallas or Bamford, and we've all given a couple of options here with with Anaya. Is that right? Or
Aina.
And Digne and Pereira. And so you possibly have a few options there. Obviously consider game week 29, but I'd be more tempted to lean on maybe doing that move as opposed to selling on Rafinha. Although I do really like Barnes. I'm not gonna. I could do kind of slightly disagree with Jay in that I do think the Barnes has done well when Maddison hasn't been there, because he's been somebody that myself and Brett have had earlier on in the season. I think you had him earlier in the season, did you, Brett?
I had him for the first 7 game weeks, and
same.
I didn't get anything like this.
Same, yeah, I know what you mean. I know the field, buddy. So I think he has done well without Maddison more recently. So I don't think it's a terrible shout if you want to kind of go for it. But for me, I'd be more tempted to use the cash.
I mean, some context on my Barnes opinion. Me and Brett both liked Barnes very early. He came and played. When he broke into that Leicester side, me and Brett both were like, this Barnes looks like a player we need to own.
Yeah.
I think we both went for him, and we were very disappointed with what we got from him after we made the move in. So I worry he's a purple patch player, or he's reliant on someone else in the system. That I think he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but FPL-wise, I worry about his consistency if the players around him change. So there's certain players I would be happy to put on my side no matter what the situation is with their club. Right now, that's the type likes of Bruno Fernandes or Kevin De Bruyne, where I just think they're at such an elite level that if players are out, I'm not too concerned. Whereas there's other players where I'm like, it does depend on how they're playing, what players are there, what the system is, what their fixtures are. And for me, with Maddison out, I need to see Barnes do something for me to then go, okay, Barnes is a player that doesn't need the likes of these other players around him.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. Completely. I think with Barnes, I agree. I think he's a streak player. I think he'll go 5-6 games returning and 3 or 4 games not doing anything. I don't think he's a catalyst or talisman in the team. I think Maddison is. I think, with the question earlier with Nuclear, I would have gone Maddison because I think he's just he's the nucleus of everything that happens within the team. Similar to Grealish, but plays differently. In regards
By the way,
to
sorry to cut you off. We had a super chat and my alert has worked.
Hey.
Thank you, Nahal. We will get to your question shortly.
We will get to your question shortly.
So, with Najib's question, I would just make the move from Antonio to Kane, and that's it. He'll have 10 double game week players. He's not taking a hit. The problem with hits is you got to have a return, because what you're doing then is you're taking the hit. You also have to factor the point that the player that you're taking the hit for, if you like, or taking out is going to get a template 2 points anyway. And who knows, he might get the odd return. Therefore, you're relying on your player to get 6-7 points just to break even. And I don't think it's worth that risk, especially considering Rashford, Barnes, Traore. I'd keep Rafinha for 2 reasons. A, home to Villa, he's in sparkling form, but I actually think he's a consistent player. And I know I keep going on about it, but we really got to start thinking about game week 29, because we're going to be in a pickle where we might be taking hits just to get 6, 7, 8 players out there. So
apart from Brett with his free hit.
For his scenario, Najib, I would do the Antonio to Kane. Absolutely. You have 10 double game weekers and you still have 5, 6. Oh my God. I think he has 7 players already for game week 29, and he still has the massive assets as well. And then eventually I would probably look to get out someone like Rashford and then keep an eye on Maddison when Maddison returns, and either bring him in or bring in Barnes.
And to be fair, if he rolls those transfers and things like that, he could maybe move Rashford to, if he's back, Grealish for that blank game week. So
precisely.
Yeah.
Just quickly.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Jay. I was just going to say, I really agree with Ray there. I don't feel comfortable even benching Rafinha this week, let alone selling him after watching him the last few games. He could be a season keeper at his price now, especially because he plays the blank as well. It's always a big difference when you're taking a hit, but you've already got cash in the bank. So, for example, if I wanted to get Kane for Antonio, I would have to sell Rashford in order to accommodate it. Therefore, it's justifying the hit a bit more, because then if Kane goes big, okay, maybe Rashford scores, but I wouldn't have got Kane in without selling him.
Yeah.
However, because he's got the money in the bank already, you can eliminate that. You're just looking at, will Barnes outscore Rashford for a -4? It's not a necessary hit because you can get Kane anyway.
Yeah.
So it makes it different because you've got the money in the bank, you know. So I think the justification to take the hit is less, because it strictly is between Rashford and the replacement.
Yeah.
It's no longer about, because you couldn't get Kane anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so it's important to think.
Because I'm with you there. Like I completely see what Ray's saying about the hit, but for me, in order to afford Kane, I have to drop me, so I have to take that hit in order to afford it.
We're in the same boat when I had to take the hit for the goalie to bring in Kane.
So in that respect, yeah, absolutely. But like in this particular instance, you're in a really strong position.
Yeah, he is.
I think, I don't think you need to fiddle with it too much. Literally Kane in, and if you really want another double game week, which, you already have a lot of, you're gonna have 11 if you get Kane in anyway. But if you want
he's gonna have 10 in.
Is he? Okay.
Rafinha
because
be
Rafinha,
but Rafinha is one of the best single weekers.
Absolutely, absolutely. I wouldn't be worrying about having to fill your team.
Rafinha in early enough. I don't know why
I had him
early.
before I had Gundogan, so I went KDB to Rafinha. I got a couple of goals out of him, and then I moved him on to Gundogan, and then they've been kind of keeping par with each other this whole time. And in the end, I was just like, okay, I can't do without him anymore. Soufal out, Rafinha back in again.
I rate Rafinha so highly that it was out of one of these players I had to bench for this week, which was Loughton, who has the double game week, and then Bamford and Rafinha. And in a heartbeat, I'm benching Loughton, because I believe Bamford and Rafinha.
That first game of the double game week, how did Cooper not put one of the chances that Rafinha literally put on a plate for him?
Oh, so many times. I was like,
Cooper should have had a hat trick. Yeah, exactly. Cooper should have had a hat trick. Literally, there was 3 times he went, "Here you go, Cooper, score a goal," and Cooper went, "Nope."
He did his best Just Eat impression. Deliveries were at the door. And no one opened.
And in another double game week, Rafinha could have come in with a ridiculous score.
Yeah.
But I was like, Bamford, see where Cooper's standing? Move Cooper, stand there, and everything will be fine.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's sorry, just really quickly, but yeah, like I say, it sounds so obvious, but like when someone takes that hit and he gets Kane and transfers out Rashford, if Kane goes big, you automatically think, oh, he paid off the hit. But in this case, he doesn't, because he's already got the money to get Kane for free anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
Completely different scenario to what us four are probably
Yeah.
on right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so Nihal, do you think McCarthy will lose his place in goal? Again, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. What do we think, guys? McCarthy, is he likely to lose his place in goal for Southampton?
I mean, if he's still around in the chat, I'd like to know why he thinks he's going to lose his place.
Yeah, I mean,
because
Forster was very good against Liverpool.
Okay.
True, but I mean, if we look at the actual minutes, like he seems to be consistently the first choice keeper, and I know Leeds have just put 3 past him, but I would like to think that he's not the type of manager. I can't say his second name, so Ralph isn't the type of manager.
Hassan Hutel.
There we go. Ray is literally the pronunciation man. We'll just go. I'll just say a person's first name, and he can then go and say the second name. But and Southampton to me, don't look amazing at the moment anyway. And yes, I know they're the type of team that can just turn it around very quickly. We had, of course, previously where Leicester went and beat them by a ridiculous scoreline, and then they turned their season around after that. But right now, nothing about the way Southampton are playing would make me want to have a Southampton goalkeeper anyway. But I believe McCarthy will still keep his place for now.
I think there's a chance he can get dropped. I do. I think there's a good chance he could be dropped, personally.
So what do you think he has done wrong to be dropped?
I just think they're playing so poorly at the moment.
Yeah, but I think that's the team that are playing poorly. I don't necessarily... The goals that were scored against him, don't get me wrong, I thought a keeper on his day would have saved some of those attempts.
So I've just really quickly gone on to look at some stats because I didn't know whether the stats were bad or not. In the last 10 game weeks, I did a quick search on save percentage for the league between game weeks 15 to 25, the last 10 game weeks, which is maybe, around about the time that Southampton have really dropped in form. Yeah, he's bottom for save percentage, 52%.
Wow.
Saved. And he's played a significant amount of minutes as well, obviously, the ones down there.
But the thing is, have you looked at the quality of chances the opposition have had against him?
No, it's a very quick search, but it kind of makes, it doesn't look great that he is right down the bottom for save percentage as well. So, yeah, I know you can look into it deeper, but the form that they're in and looking at that alone doesn't look great for him.
I mean, to be honest, I haven't watched many Southampton games recently because as far as ownership of players goes, I've not had many Southampton assets recently. So unless they're playing a team that I have players playing in against them, I can't necessarily judge on those games. But the few games I have watched, I haven't looked at McCarthy and thought that goal was his fault. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Brett, I'm kind of with you as well because I'm not surprised by the stats you've given me because I feel like every shot that's getting hit is going in past him, isn't it? Or poor save. But for me, with a goalkeeper, it's not necessarily the form of shot stopping, it's kind of the decision making. I feel that's what makes a great keeper, is making the right decisions at the right time. Now, I've seen McCarthy make a lot of foundation errors that I wasn't seeing from him before because I think he's a good goalie. And that affects the confidence, obviously, in himself. But just as important, it affects the confidence of the defense, that they don't trust him as much. So that's probably why it's kind of like a yin and yang, they're both affecting each other and it's affecting the overall performance. And of course that, other 9-0 game as well, where pretty much everything was absolutely going in, it's just completely shot his confidence. So for me, I would give him a couple of games out of the team because I actually think it will do him a world of good to kind of just take a step back. Forster is actually a good keeper, personally. I do think he's a good goalie. And he performed very well against Liverpool, made a couple of good saves in that game that Southampton won 1-0. And I think he deserves his run. And then, you have that, then Hassan Hutel has a fantastic position where he's like, we'll have 2 top goalies now. So, but it can't be one game. It has to be, for me, 3.
Yeah.
To be fair, taking into account what you just said, Forster is a good enough goalkeeper for it to be consideration for Ralph. So I agree with that, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily take that into account as my answer. But Fraser Forster is good enough that you can look at his performances and go, okay, it's time to give Fraser Forster a go.
I'd imagine that Nahal's asking this question maybe because he's considering Forster as a backup keeper, as a potential player to I
was going to say, why is it, Nihal, that you're asking the question then?
Yeah,
because if it's
you don't know
FPL
Martinez, come on.
Yeah, I was going to say, surely, we might be able to help there if there's a reasoning for thinking behind it.
Just quickly as well, he makes a good point in the chat about, because obviously I gave those very quick stats, but there is the 9-0 to consider. So it's a big outlier when you concede so many goals and so many shots. So I'm sure that doesn't help McCarthy's stats, but it was a very quick thing and it just didn't surprise me to see him so low on there,
Yeah. Okay, let's do a very, very quick fire, Brett, if you're good with that.
Sure.
Maybe three or so questions, and then we'll go to Jaffa's corner.
All right. I'll just give a quick shout out to Jamie, a friend of mine's in the chat tonight. And he was teasing me a little bit because when Lingard went to West Ham, I was basically saying how I don't rate Lingard, and, and he was saying, no, it's a good transfer. You wait, when he was good in his prime, I was like, Lingard's got a prime. You having a laugh? There's no such thing as a prime. And now he's actually been really good. Like, he is actually in his prime all of a sudden. So now he's.
To be fair, Lingard's been very good for England.
Point to prove.
So
I know, yeah.
When he's got a point to prove, he's.
I'd just like to point out your friend has come to our stream when he's got a point to prove, and not before. Come on, mate.
He does actually. He does tune in, but he doesn't often comment. He doesn't often comment.
So now he's got something to say.
Just a troll, yeah, he's trolling me. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so let's. Mark Joshi wants to discuss Maddison replacements. So does anyone have? I haven't got the timer going a minute, so just take it away, and I'll set a timer for a minute.
Well, there's the obvious option in just going straight to Barnes, right? I don't know what the price difference is, but I'm assuming you could just.
I think he's probably a bit less, actually, Barnes.
He is less.
Yeah, like
he might be the same opinion as me and doesn't want to go to. Because that would be the easy one. If you think Barnes is going to keep the form up, then Barnes is the easy replacement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
without knowing the rest of his team, it's a bit difficult.
I'm assuming he has Rafinha, because I would quite easily suggest him or Ilkay in the one. I mean, if Arsenal actually got any sort of consistency, you have Smith Rowe and Saka, who I think both are great players, but I think that team doesn't have the consistency.
I'd like to throw a name out there. And we were just saying about it earlier, and Jay, you and I actually, if you don't already have a City double up, Bernardo Silva as a potential option.
True, he's looked good, and I think he's been overshadowed by the fact that Ilkay's been really good.
It's the whole Pep Roulette thing, though, if you're happy to kind of take a bit of risk on that one.
Ray, any other shouts to replace Maddison?
Mason Mount's looked excellent, hasn't he?
He has, to be fair. He has. He's been a player I've been looking at. But it's funny how there's been no question that's made me go, I have to suggest Mason Mount.
I think also Ademola Lookman.
Oh, come on, you're the guy that meant to be able to say the names.
You're the name person.
Well, when you interrupt me all the time, it frazzles me, So
I completely stay quiet just to see you fluff that name.
Ademola Lookman. Also, he's got a return recently, and if you're not going for Barnes, I think Lookman's a good one to look at because again, broken record. He plays in game week 29 as well, and
Leeds at home there too.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but I feel Lookman might be the talisman without really completely taking the reins, if that makes sense. I feel like everything creative usually goes through him. So, if he performs well, then he'll get the bonus points ultimately. That's what I'm thinking.
Sorry, you said Fulham and talisman and in the same sentence.
And we all got a bit kind of what's going on.
Well, someone said wait. Someone said they'll take a -8 to bring in Aina. So.
That wasn't me.
That's very true. I did
or whatever
say
his
that.
name is.
Well, I did say it would be for Kane, but yes, he would be a part of it. It would definitely help, given the points he has scored. I mean, thank me later.
Nim, who would?
Thank me later.
Who would you bring in?
I'm not saying it. I'll get his name wrong. But I would like to throw another name out there, Jay Rodriguez. Just given their fixtures, Everton's fixtures, I think he could be
James,
sorry, yeah.
Okay,
so
yeah, I got so confused. I was like, Jay Rodriguez, a Burnley striker.
They got the double.
My camera's gone all fuzzy on me. There you go. Yeah. Okay, cool. Go with another one.
All right. This one's from Nihal. He wants to know, is any of us considering Maitland-Niles with him, being out of position, quite attacking at the moment? And I guess he's just listed as a defender, right? So
yes, he is.
Yeah. Anyone had any thoughts about him at all?
No. Quick answer. No, I haven't.
I mean,
haven't considered
the same as for me, but I'm just seeing if I should.
Yeah. Should we be looking at him?
I'm like, huh?
I'd rather go for someone like Veltman or something around that price, you know, or White, you know, someone like that.
You're going
if
to
you're
mention
looking at
Game
that
Week
kind
29 again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Welcome to the
help
Game
it.
Week 29 stream.
I forward plan.
Yeah, well, because Brett, you have a free hit, so it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah,
but for the
literally.
rest of us, you know, 29
He's like,
is
why are you guys so
important.
worried about Game Week 29?
Yeah.
It's fine.
What's your
You
worry?
could go
like?
Veltman, White, Dunk. It's like, I wonder why you suggested.
To be honest, the thing is though,
You could go
Sanchez
Sanchez
has
in
done all right
goal.
for me.
You could go.
All right, no problem.
Go on, one more.
Okay. And yeah, sorry, Nahal, looks like none of us have really considered him, but 4.6 million, like you say, out of position, and has a double game week, so could be a decent differential, mate. Okay, one more. Okay, so Alistair wants to know, Luca Digne versus one of the Leicester boys, Pereira or Castagna. So should he, I mean, those two are much more differential punts than Digne. What do we think? Is the justification to go for one of those over Luca Digne?
I think as soon as I sold Digne, I think you should stick with him because it's probably going to be a safe bet and they are great fixtures. And whilst I don't think that he's going to necessarily get, well, they might get clean sheets given the fixtures, but with Digne, it's about the odd assist here and there, isn't it? And with a double game week, he could rack up a nice little score. But Pereira looks great. I mean, he did look fantastic in the last match, but yeah, I would probably stick with Digne. I mean, if I didn't need the cash, I possibly would have stayed there if I wasn't chasing the double Dallas. But yeah, I needed the money and I needed the double and it worked out nicely with my multi-pass. So yeah, but Digne is more than likely to hurt me this week to make up for it.
Cool. What do we think? You two, any more?
I don't know. There's a bit of me that likes that move. I don't.
The tough
Well,
one.
one of the Leicester boys.
Yeah, I just feel like if.
So you won't get Barnes, but you'll get a Leicester defender.
Well, no, but just because I think Leicester are definitely as capable as Everton to keep a clean sheet.
Okay.
And I feel like those two players, I don't know, something about the way Leicester play, I feel like they're more likely to get something. And of course, Castan had that period where he looked like potentially the greatest attacking right back to come to the Premier League for a very short period of time. He came in and just looked amazing. And I think Leicester have those two who are very capable of getting big points in a game week. So I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that move because Digne, it's been a while since he was that kind of fullback where I was confident in his returns. But don't get me wrong, he still has returns, still could get clean sheets. But I remember when initially we were bringing him in, he had the free kicks, he had the corners, and it just seemed like he was such a great.
The goals aren't there anymore, are they?
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't have the goals anymore.
So there was a point when Digne was literally one of the fullbacks. I was like, I have to see if he's worth bringing in, and he's kind of lost that kind of shine to him. So I don't necessarily hate the move if you feel like that is a good move for you. With Justin out now, I'm assuming potentially both of them play.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we've also had another super chat from Nahal, so thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Nihal.
Thank you, mate.
Could I add to that? Sorry.
Go for it,
mate. Yeah, go for it.
Pereira really excites me because he played as right mid in a 4-2-3-1 against Villa.
Yes, I should have said
and that. His heat maps as well were just, he was getting in some positions to really, really get creative. But also with Maddison out, I could see Pereira playing there again.
Yeah, you really like the heat maps, don't you, Ray? It's really interesting to hear about the heat maps because they're really useful.
Heat maps in game week 29, mate. That's me.
That's his vibe, man.
That's my thing.
Well,
he's bookmarked it.
Yeah.
Kurt's got you, isn't he, Brett? What was it? What was the video for? Was it
27?
Game week 27? Now we need one for Ray with his double
heat maps.
with his heat maps and his game
Remember
week
to always
29.
forward think. Yeah, something like that. But yeah. To add on that, I think Ricardo Pereira could really. I think he's a phenomenal right back anyway, but to put him in a more attacking position, it could come up Millhouse. So I love the move. And also they really do have some nice fixtures coming up. You know, they got the double Arsenal at home, Burnley away, then they got Brighton away and Sheffield United at home. I mean, these are some really, really nice fixtures for him to return, not only defensively, but offensively. So I really like the move.
Yeah.
Wait, me and Ray agree on something.
You do. So
If you want to see us agree on more stuff, he has a video out that I did.
Oh, what
today.
a man. What a man.
Sorry, just thought I'd get a quick plug in there for him.
I really like both teams' fixtures going forward for the next good 4 or 5 game weeks, minus the blank week, obviously. But both fixtures look great for Leicester and Everton. But looking at the defensive stats, so Everton over the last 6 game weeks have conceded 12 goals.
Yeah.
Leicester only 6. And shots inside the box, Leicester on 40, Everton 63. You know, so Leicester are looking a lot more solid defensively than 17 shots on target they've conceded. Everton 37 in the last 6 game weeks. So yeah, as you know, Pereira is a differential out of position within a much more strong defense,
and some lovely fixtures as well.
I'm considering it myself now.
Talking yourself into it.
I've got too many good defenders already, so
same. Okay, so Nihal has said McCarthy is his second keeper on his bench boost and he doesn't want to take a hit, so that's why he asked the question. That is a tough one because I think, I mean, at the same sort of price, you got Areola, haven't you? And Johnston are both have double game weeks, but it's whether you take the hit for those players. McCarthy doesn't play in 29, so depending on whether Nihal needs to worry about a keeper for 29, assuming he's got Martinez as his first keeper, or Pope, both of which pay in 29.
I may be tempted to take the punt on that because McCarthy is a single game week player on the bench boost away to Everton.
Yeah.
And they're not defending well. So you could get a double game
terrible.
week keeper. I know it's awful taking a hit for a keeper, but for a double game week,
I like it. I think I'd punt. I think I'd take a punt and go for it.
If the rest of your bench is good and if you think, I've got 3 good outfield players for the bench boost here, then maybe it's worth going for it for the keeper. I don't know, for 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, if you take what's like, I mean, I was going to say what's the worst that could happen, but I mean, you could get 0 points from McCarthy, and you could pay -4 and get 0 points from a keeper, like with your money back. So it's like, for me, it's possibly worth the punt in the hope that you get a clean sheet and maybe some save points.
And I think Areola reaches out too, because Fulham have looked excellent and he's been phenomenal.
I think he looks great. Jay, I think you're muted, buddy.
Oh, he actually muted this time. He's not muted on Zoom.
He's not on Zoom.
Or on the client that we're using.
Yes. Okay, well, this is interesting. So,
This is great.
Brett,
how are you? I haven't heard you for a while, mate.
Ray can talk without being interrupted now. It's like,
I know, crack on, Ray.
Lovely,
now
guys.
you've got this chance to say something.
So, guys, what are you doing in game week? Brett, what are you doing in game week 29, mate? What are your plans? We'll be out of lockdown by then.
I have no idea. Maybe free hit, maybe not. I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't like it. He's got his concentration face on. This is worrying me. Hopefully, we figure out what the issue is. So, but we got maybe another question while he's figuring that out.
Okay.
Right, because obviously going to Jeff's corner, we need Jay. So.
Okay, there is one, but it's just one of these really long, difficult ones.
Oh, I see. So you're trying to avoid it.
Yeah, because it's from Alistair again. So we did the easy one from Alistair, but it's a trickier one.
There's another one I saw, if that helps.
Oh, yeah, go for it, Ray. Yeah, we've done one for Alistair already. So
from Rishi Patel, Holgate or Dyer?
Oh, okay. Interesting two choices. I'd be interested to know why he's narrowed it down to those two. I get they both have double game weeks, but
Price,
and also
maybe?
and I think also thoughts on Holgate at 4.8 million looks nailed, looks good for double game week for those who can't afford Dinya. So he's trying to do a cover here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, based on those stats there of what Brett was saying about Everton conceding all those, that's probably why I was so keen to get rid of Dinya, to be honest, because it just felt like they lost their clean sheet every week.
I'd rather go Aina.
Yeah, me too. I think so too. I genuinely feel like I prefer him.
Brett, what are your thoughts, man?
I was just initially, I wish I knew more about this Luke Thomas of Leicester. He's only played the one game, with James Justin out. 4.2 million, and I get that Pereira and Castagne are the other two first choice. But if Pereira does play further forward, then there's a spot there for Thomas at 4.2 million with a nice double game week. It's a gamble because he might not play. I'm not sure on Holgate or Dyer. I don't like either of those two personally, so I think I would have to look elsewhere. If I had to pick between them, I'd probably go Holgate.
I know,
probably
like
Holgate,
just for the fixtures, I think.
Have good fixtures as well.
Yeah,
but Holgate seems more nailed, isn't it? Because Tottenham, they're changing that central partnership every game now.
Yeah,
I can't imagine myself bringing in Dyer at this point, so it would have to be Holgate from those two. But I would look elsewhere personally. Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Jay doesn't look any closer to having reached a conclusion. So what we might have to do here is go to Jeff's corner, and he might
one more joke. We've got to 10,000 views. Since he's muted himself, it's gone up a couple of zeros. He's just giggling. Sorry.
We should go to Jeff's corner, and then he can write in a piece of paper or put it in the chat.
Charades.
Put it in the chat, maybe. So Jeff's corner time, and if you don't already, please go follow at Austin66 UK. This section allows you guys as our viewers to get to know us as Wildcats a little bit better, and it's a bit of fun for you guys to join in too. Jeffers will score us accordingly. Topic is ice cream. Excluding basic chocolate, strawberry and vanilla flavors, we are allowed more complex variants of those flavors. What flavors are you enticing the rest of us with? And I believe we get points based on who agrees with us on those choices and who disagrees with us on those choices. So I know, Ray, you were quite excited about this one. So would you like to go first?
I'm a sucker for cookies and cream, Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah, nice. That's a good one. Although you are somewhat talking to two people who can't eat that. So
I'm gonna get battered. I'm getting no points.
Brett, you've got a vote from Jay. So you've got a vote from Jay. But Brett, what are we saying on this? Because both you and I, dairy free for different reasons, but
there's plenty of dairy free
cookies and creams.
Yeah, you can get Ben & Jerry's or other providers are available.
Yeah, okay, we'll let you have it based on
you guys are doing me a solid.
The non-Ben & Jerry's version.
Okay.
But it's not my favorite, so I don't know what Jeffers wants to take on that one from me.
Well, you say yes or no. You ever say now? Yeah.
Now you're asking me to choose.
A dairy-free cookies and cream ice cream sounds enticing.
Mate, you've got to try some dairy-free ice cream. Is there some great ones out there?
I have. They're delicious.
That's okay then. Okay,
I'm trying to get that point. I'm trying to get that point in.
I think it's an R from me. Oh, sorry.
It's a yes from me.
Okay, cool. So we got 2 yeses. Jay, do you want to put yours in the chat?
Salted caramel.
Salted caramel. Oh, yes, that's a yes from me. I like salted caramel.
That's a yes from me as well.
Yeah, we're all thumbs up on that.
Full
one.
house.
That's a
Full
great, that's a
house.
great shout, actually. I wish I
Fantastic
thought of
flavour.
that one. That is a
Yeah.
top shout.
Mine is honeycomb. I like honeycomb ice cream, so that's my fave.
I might have to say no on that one now. I'm not sure.
I don't like the
about that one.
crunchy honeycombness. Oh, I love that.
Me too.
That kind of bitter and slightly
I'm not a
sugary
fan.
crunchy.
Yeah, it's that bitter that gets me in an ice cream. I just
you don't like a
don't feel it
crunchy,
works.
man. Come on. Come on.
No. Is it like a crunchy this?
It is like a
Oh,
crunchy.
no. It's a no then. Definitely.
Yeah,
I'm not a
no.
crunchy fan. I'm sorry, Nim. I'm sorry.
Oh, so I missed out on points last week and now I bombed again. I was going to say mint chocolate chip. That was my other one.
Oh, that would have been a yes.
Oh, damn it. So can I scratch the first one and say chocolate?
I say mint chocolate chip is underrated. I agree, pal. I agree.
Oh,
it is
I've just
underrated.
seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, Brett, come on.
Yeah,
I'm saying no, whatever it is now. No, I'm joking.
I always go for like the chocolatey ones, so anything like that. But I know I can't pick chocolate, obviously. I'm trying to think of another good answer.
You can if it's a concoction.
Yeah, so you could have a variant of chocolate.
A variant of it.
Like
yeah.
a chocolate fudge or something.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey,
There he is.
Hi there. No more sign language.
Yeah,
Ray's
so
like, that's it, I'm going.
I could suggest one, but then I'd be helping you, and I don't know whether I should be.
No,
Do you like
help.
chocolate?
This is competition.
Okay, all
Don't
right.
help him.
Okay.
I've just got 4
Yeah.
points after my stinker last game week. So.
I wouldn't know what the flavor's called, but if I was to pick an ice cream, it'd be like a chocolate fudge with like some kind of like nuts on top or something. It's like pecan nuts or
You're creating your own here.
I don't know. Like, yeah, just a little bit of like nutty crunch. But
I
with
do
chocolate.
like.
You can get those like magnums.
Oh, we've
with,
lost you again, Jay.
He knocked
it's not
something
me
then.
this
I
time.
heard him knock something then when like a cable came out or something.
Yeah, felt like you knocked something.
But yeah, you
that
can
sounds
get
good.
those magnums with like the nuts in like the chocolate.
Yeah, it's
Something
the
like that, yeah.
it's the almond. It's the Magnum
Yeah,
almond.
like an
Yeah.
almond. I'll go almond then. I don't know if that's really a flavor, but chocolate almond or something like that.
Well, I'm gonna say yes. So yeah.
I see. I'm not a fan of marzipan, so almonds a bit of an odd one for me. Sometimes I like them, and sometimes I don't. So, if you'd said hazelnut, I'd have been with you. But
Good shout. Good
for
shout.
almonds, I think I have to say no, even though I'm so good with the chocolate.
Yeah, no, hazelnut's a great shout as well, to be fair. If I
Yeah.
said hazelnut flavor would have been a great shout.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I would have gone
hazelnuts.
pistachio if cookies and cream didn't count. I'm a huge fan of pistachio.
When
Or
I
coconut.
could eat dairy ice cream, the Ben and Jerry's fish food was my favorite one. Yeah, so that was a fave.
Am I back now? I think
yes.
I'm back now.
Hello, you're back again. Cool.
I'm good with Brett's as well.
Oh,
and
sorry.
Pistachio
Just
as
me.
well.
Just me.
Good.
I
It's
thought
ice
you were
cream.
gonna
I like every ice cream.
chocolate brownie. I would have been like, yeah, I'm all
Great
over
shout.
that.
No, great shout.
One thing I
I couldn't
don't
think
like
of
in
these
ice
things.
cream is popcorn.
Oh,
Why
no,
on
Oh,
earth is
yeah.
popcorn
Weird.
put in ice cream? I tried it
No.
once and I was like, what is this nonsense? But other than that, points
Okay.
for everyone.
There's some great ones in it. Sorry, there's white chocolate is underrated. I feel I don't think it's up there as one of the best, but it is underrated. Raspberry sorbet or lemon sorbet, that's a good call as well. Going a different kind of route.
Mango sorbet is the
an
best
ice
sorbet.
cream?
Yeah,
Is it an
mango's the
ice
best.
cream though?
I mean, I would
That's-
argue it's not, but if you're gonna
Yeah.
pick a sorbet, you have
it's
to
not
go
got
mango.
cream in it, so
Well,
it's not a
flavour.
sorbet.
It could
Frozen
be- it
yogurt
could be-
is the best. Mango frozen yogurt.
Yes,
mate. Oh,
yes.
frozen.
Anything
I like the
frozen
one
and
from
mango.
Nando's.
And oh my god, I can't believe Mick said it because I was thinking of it. Feast,
Mm.
yeah, because it has the
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't
that's a
even
good
really
shout.
get into
That's a good
like
shout.
actual ice creams you buy from the ice cream van.
Yeah,
like
We did
Cornetto
like
or something like
yeah,
that, yeah.
like feasts.
We've given him a
and-
topic for next game week. now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you all for joining us. Please do everything that you need to do. I'm sure Jay will tell you what that is in just a moment.
If the
Please-
microphone works.
Check out our sponsors, Fantasy Football Scout. And yeah, I'll pass over to Jay to wrap us up.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Ray, for taking the mick out of my microphone not working. But at least it worked for your video. So anyway, if you could like the video, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, thank you so much for the super chats from Nahal. That is much appreciated. Do check us out on Instagram as well as Twitter. It's at FPL WildCats. We're easy to find. It's FPL WildCats everywhere. And we'll catch you guys some point next week, which you will know about if you follow our Twitter. So make sure to do that one. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Double